A librarian found a misplaced book that led to a really weird library. So let's explore it and the puzzles this library has to offer. Top 5 puzzles I did in Shardhunt 2023. Time to pull out my logic. Opening Sesame led to the first floor, but we need to unlock the staircase. Here I picked up Join or Die, as I could do the slithering park on my phone while on the bus. This logic puzzle still has a classic loop formation and boundary labeling, but puzzle hunts give twists like the grid using triangles this time. I managed to get the icosahedron and send the results over my phone to a teammate who helped finish by extracting a final answer phrase. Though the reason why I was on the bus is because I was out with a friend to a play reading when the hunt started. By the time I returned, all the first floor puzzles were finished. On to the next floor! There's more puzzles and unsettledness in the second floor, but Cryptic Crossing was fairly doable. No surprise gimmicks in the cryptic crosswords. These mix definition and wordplay in separate parts. But in the and lit clue of 15 across, the entire cryptic clue is also the definition. Though we still need to find a way to extract an answer phrase. Teammates made observations with street suffixes, which helped me drive home the answer with a Pleasant Street formula gimmick ride. Cryptic Crossing was my favorite of all the second floor puzzles. On to the next floor! With the first and second floor puzzles out of the way, all that's left is the third floor. The best floor in my opinion. But not before an extra dimensional entity unfolds with its hex destruction. I really wanted to do Flight of the Battlebees, but a teammate took on that. But I still got some nice math treatment and great physics memories with the problems of the 2021 Shardhunt Physics Challenge that got delayed for 2 years. And then seeing the historical references, kind of like some of those math problems, as well as the date differentiation was also nice. But extraction was a nightmare. I know the differences are an index for the 6-letter words clued in each hexagon, but got gibberish with what I tried. Fortunately, a teammate not only saw the pairing for the hexagonal clues, but also the source telescope. Then I found a canonical labeling of each hexagon. Now I can index and extract my way to the answer. Now how about a two-way tie? That entity really made things chaotic on the third floor. The puzzles start to become extra challenging. Unfortunately, the librarian lost track of the team too. Good thing there's teammates that can work ahead in all-out endgame territory. Huge meta spoilers ahead, especially for this two-way tie for both the third floor metas using the third floor feeder answers, and for good reason. In the death of the library, the first major observation from that teammate was the feeders are 2 words, with matching first letter initials as literary authors. I then not only found the length match, but also some eigenletters that are definitely going to be used. Even with only 5 feeders solved and not all feeders unlocked, a teammate still found the answer that is needed to fix all the issues. Entitlement. But entitlement to what? Now we're back to mini puzzle versions of all the feeder puzzles. I calculated the time travel for the 2021 Shardhunt Physics Challenge extra credit, and realized this riffs on the time travel of Time Machine. This throwback meta didn't just reuse the individual puzzle mechanics, they also involve riffs on books written by the authors for the feeders that we have to figure out with the emoji. All this connectivity makes for a nice creative setup that also links up with the final extraction. But with only 5 feeders found, figuring out the mini puzzles and the books was incredibly tricky. But the back solving really shined as teammates found book emojis, authors, and feeder answers to puzzles like Sandwich Shop. Not only that, but I found a forward solve path to that same puzzle with the answer and cube rule in mind. And with just 7 letters found from the mini puzzles, we later found that the entitlement is for human rights. That did wonders to boot that meta-spoiling manifold maker out of the library. After all, humans are sentient beings, and these writings gave a way to explore the mind of someone else. No wonder we do all sorts of discussions, essay writings, and dinner party countdowns about them. Now the librarian has enough adventure and decided to pet their cat and take a nap. But the library is still not normal. And that's because I checked out a puzzle while trying to get feeders for the third floor metas, and it just flat out required me to search the library. And that's where things get complicated. Part of the reason why the librarian said this library is not normal is because this one riffs on the Library of Babel. It's said to contain every possible ordering of a character set, and even has an online code version too. Normally, most of the words are gibberish unless one uses a specific book from a specific hex, but searching on the third floor has the interwoven mini puzzles and flavor text I really appreciated. Let's talk about them. One of the first ones we got were the worm search of the 5th entry. It's a word search, but each entry was split up, wormhole style, but with a common letter in the split. We also worked on the cryptics of the second entry and the developmental names of the fourth entry. But things started to get trickier. The first entry had a lot of nouns, but I was able to not only refine Waldo, but also the 26-letter grouping and the secret items. Couldn't believe I soloed that. Then there's a sixth entry, which notably doesn't have the gibberish of the other entries. A teammate pointed out the regex mechanics, and with some sheets formulas and word counting, I found 4 recurring words leading to a clue phrase that somehow led to the mini-puzzle answer. Still, even with the mini-puzzle answers, it took a while to search a way to get a final answer phrase from these mini-puzzle answers. Only when I thought about searching the mini-puzzle answers alongside the word search was when I can get more results I can search for. The repeated bigrams I needed to get the answer that was just enough for those teammates to move on with the meta. After lots of difficulties finding a way forward both in this puzzle and the rest of the third floor, it was so satisfying to get the aha that helped us move forward in not only the answer, but the third floor in general. And that wraps up Shardhunt 2023. Though not much stood out to me in the first 2 floors, the third floor really leveled up the puzzles and experiences with all that difficulty, back-solving, and storytelling. Thanks to the crew at 17 Shard for all the puzzle stories, and for viewers like you, thank you.